Rivlin begins meeting with parties to form the next government. Obama says recent Netanyahu comments complicate the peace process. Kerry meets European counterparts over Iran nuclear talks. And 7 children die in a Brooklyn house fire. Shalom and welcome to the Jerusalem Post News. The top stories for March 22nd. President Rivlin began consultations with representatives of various parties this morning in an effort to form a governing coalition as quickly as possible.
עברנו מערכת בחירות סוערת ורוויית יצרים. זו העת להתחיל תהליך איחוי וריפוי של החברה הישראלית. הממשלה שתתגבש אומנם נבחרה על ידי רוב הציבור, אך היא תצטרך לתת מענה לכל הציבור בישראל. יהודים, ערבים, ימין ושמאל, צפון ודרום, מרכז ופריפריה.
Rivlin will discuss with each party who they recommend to head the new government and then decide who to task with forming the next coalition. It's very likely that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be tasked with forming the next government, as his Likud party received the most mandates in last week's election by a large margin. US President Barack Obama said on Friday that Netanyahu's pre-election disavowal of a two-state solution makes it hard to find a path towards serious negotiations to resolve the issue. In an interview with the Huffington Post that was published yesterday, Obama described his Thursday phone call with Netanyahu 2 days after he was re-elected. He said he indicated that the US continues to believe that the two-state solution is the only way for long-term security of Israel if it wants to stay both a Jewish and democratic state. US efforts to reach a nuclear deal continued yesterday, with Washington and its allies speaking of real progress and urging Tehran to take difficult decisions.
We've met together here in London to review progress in the discussions that have been going on with Iran in Lausanne. We're all agreed that we've made some very significant progress in some areas of those discussions, but there are other areas where we do not have agreement. And the time has come now for Iran in particular to take some very tough decisions if we are going to see progress made.
But with just 10 days remaining until the end of March deadline for a framework agreement, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei denounced US bullying in the negotiations and repeated Tehran's denial that it was seeking to develop a nuclear weapon. And 7 children from an Orthodox Jewish family died yesterday in their home in one of New York City's deadliest fires in years.
Family that lived there, it was 8 children and a mother were home. The mother and the oldest daughter self-evacuated. They were out of the house upon our arrival. The 7 children were still in their rooms upstairs. Firefighters forced their way in, extinguished fire on the first floor, which had started in the kitchen, pushed upstairs, and found the children in their bedrooms in the back of the home. This is the largest tragedy by fire that this city has had in 7 years.
Was it something on the stove? Or?
It apparently was a hot plate that are used to keep food warm. Hot plate was left on. A malfunction occurred and the fire started in the kitchen.
The bodies of the 7 children will be flown to Israel after their funeral and will be buried in Jerusalem tomorrow. And that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more news from Israel. Until then, shalom from the Jerusalem Post studios.